welcome to my channel. This is my new channel that I'm starting up. I'm doing a bit of a odds and sods sort of channel where I do all sorts of different things. I go fishing, go to see historic buildings, learn a bit of history, and just, if there's people around and they're willing to have a chat and talk, then, we'll be doing some interviews as well to talk about what people have been through and how they get along in life, and their successes, their failures, and so on. My name's Carl. Welcome to my channel. As I said, this is basically the reason why I wanted to do this is because I do a lot of traveling. I do a lot of moving around. I go from place to place. I hate being stuck in the house. Ultimately, I'll be completely honest with you from the get-go, I am not a professional in any of this. This is all just stuff that I do just to keep my brain occupied, because if I'm left alone with my own thoughts, things get ugly, and we don't want that. So yeah, basically I got Crohn's disease. I've had it now for 6 years, and that's one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. I do a lot of walking around, a lot of filming, a lot of fishing, basically to keep my mind occupied. And the reason for that is, like I said, because of the Crohn's disease. I've had it for 6 years, but 3 years ago I had an operation that was supposed to have helped fix the problem, but it made it a hell of a lot worse, and I suffered an internal bleed. I was rushed into intensive care for a while, and I lost a lot of weight. I ended up having to come out of hospital and basically rebuild myself from the ground up, and I suffered a lot mentally. Mainly with the PTSD, I was really ill with my mental health, and I wanted to commit suicide. So that's a trigger warning. My apologies for that. But I rediscovered my fishing, and I rediscovered going back out with my brother, with my daughter, with my wife. Just doing whatever I could do, doing a bit of metal detecting, doing a bit of fishing, just going out for a general walk. And that's basically what I'm doing now, but I'm filming it. So yeah, that's the introduction to my video and to my channel. So welcome. If you like it, please subscribe, comment, any questions or whatever about Crohn's disease. I'm happy to talk about it if anybody has any questions about that. And yeah, I don't want to, like I said, I want to reiterate exactly that I am not a professional in any of this. My fishing is just something I do as a passion because it helps me, and that's kind of what I want to do. So enjoy the video. Right, so we managed to do a bit of filming. Tried 3 times to do a bit footage with the GoPro, and 3 times I failed. One, because the GoPro, me being stupid, decided to put the GoPro in the waterproof case and not realise. The other reason was I put the GoPro on my head, started to do a bit of filming on there, and well, the camera was all over the shop, so that footage was out the window as well. So we're on to try number 3, and hopefully we can get this done. I've done a bit of underwater work, so I've gone under, showed a bit of footage underwater, which I think could come out alright, but we'll find out anyway. So yeah, I just wanted to do a quick video of that, and once I get down by the river now, I'll switch over to the GoPro and we'll go from there. So just wanted to quickly show you the fly that I'm using. See if you can see there's the fly. And yeah, so I'll switch the GoPro on and we'll go from there, guys. See you very soon. So here we go, attempt number 3 on a bit of filming with the GoPro. at the moment there's a couple of boys up on the top jumping in and out of the water, so I think going up that area is a little bit out of the question today. But we will fish from the second weir down, and I don't know if you can see, there's the first weir. Now the second weir is just a little bit further up. My original idea was to go in there with the waders again, but I'd rather not leave my camera gear on the side of the bank, and it's a pain in the arse to carry everywhere, so we'll persevere with this. And okay, we jumped just down by the second weir. I'm going to get everything set up and then we'll start casting upwards first. I will fish this area over by you a little bit later on, but there's not much of a stretch that we're going to be able to do, because obviously there's some lads up the top, but they're having a bit of a good time in the river, so we don't want to disturb them. At the end of the day, the river's for everybody to enjoy. So yeah, I'll just get everything ready. I've seen a few rising already, so I know they are there. And yeah, we'll see what we can get. I'll see if I can get a take on camera for you guys. I've tried a few times now to, like I said, with the footage and get the footage right, and it's so difficult because the way the camera's... Oh, bugger! No! Well, I caught that on camera, didn't I? Obviously, yes. There we go, that's a 7-pound dink gone down the fucking drain. Well, if that's anything to do with how today is going to go, doesn't seem like it's going to be a very good day, does it? But let's persevere. Don't let a bad moment ruin a great day. See what we can do here. Quite a few fish rising in this spot, so hopefully we'll get something. They seem to be rising quite a lot, you know, more than what they were yesterday. We'll see if we can get a take on camera. Again, I'd like to reiterate that I am not a pro at doing this. My casts are not perfect. You know, I don't have the technique down just yet, but that will come with time and a bit of practice, I suppose, and we'll see what happens. One thing I do tend to do is every now and again I cast it and I get a bit of bounce back on the line. I don't know whether I'm putting too much pressure on it or whether I'm casting it out wrong. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll keep persevering, keep trying, and hopefully I may find my gink further down the river later on, so we'll just have to see, I suppose. But yeah, I did have it's a 12-foot leader, tapered leader on it. It's had a few centimeters cut off from when I got stuck in a tree and lost my fly, but it's still long enough and it's got no knots in it, so it's still usable. Yeah, this little spot is a little bit big, it's right again. This spot by here it's an absolutely fantastic spot to be fishing in, but it's better if you're in the water, because obviously being in the water is closer to the fish. It's a little bit out of the eyesight of the fish, but like I said, having to carry my camera gear in my hands or on my back as well as carry the rod, and if I hook into a fish, and it'll be a bit of a nightmare, so we ain't going to do that today. Sometimes I have my daughter with me, so what I'll do is I'll have her carry the camera gear while I get into the river, and we'll get a bit of footage that way, which will be a lot easier. So right now I'll just turn the camera off, guys, and if I hook into a fish I'll switch it back on. So there's a big fish that tends to jump in this area by he's been here now. I've been watching him for the past 20 minutes from down on the weir. It's a bit of an awkward place to cast, but I'm going to give it a crack, see if I can't get a take on camera for you. Only issue with this little spot by here is that the bank is a little high, so I'll have to try and maneuver the fish out of the water really, which is not ideal, but it's not impossible to do. I'm going to try and get it just by that tree, that big tree that's hanging over. That overhang is a nice little area where they tend to congregate. If not, we're going to go down to our weir just over there. It's another weir which is it's a better weir than the other one. There's not so much fast-paced water in different areas. It's a little bit more smoother because it's really deep. I've changed the fly over as well. The white fly wasn't doing any justice. Wasn't doing anything down there. I was getting. They were just looking at it really and not taking. So I've switched out to a CDC with. Don't quite know what the fly is because I had it off one of the gentlemen who ties his own flies in the local tackle shop made it for me. So we thought we'd give that a crack because it seems it's a smaller hook and it's a little less bright. And there's a fish that just went over there and I don't think I'm going to be able to drop this one in. It's a bit of a difficult one today. All of the struggles, I did have the waders on. Oh, he's right by it. I did have the waders on. I did a bit of filming further up the top up there. That's, again, that was a little bit more difficult again because it's harder to cast in those areas up there because there's so many big boulders that there's not really a way for you to get into the right spots. Try and guide it. Try aim it just for that branch just over there. And just let that drift. See if I can drag him out from there. Again, I took the waders off because the person I had with me that was filming had gone home, so obviously all my fishing gear, my camera gear is in the bag, and I didn't want to carry that around inside the river. Not inside the river, but in the river, on the river. I don't know how. Oh shit. So I took the waders off and I decided to try and come back to see if I can get another couple of casts in that area. That's a nice cast. The midges are biting. Struggling a bit to actually get a take, which is a little bit unusual for this spot. This spot's normally pretty good for bites anyway, you know, they do come up. And then it's just down to me missing the take then. Which most of the time that's what it is. So I know there's another couple of fish that are rising just the other side of this tree. So I'll bring this up. And I'll get stuck in a tree. I'll show you the fly as well, so you can see what type of fly I'm using. So that's the fly there. I'm going to dry it off. It's been dunked in the water quite a bit now. And again, like I said, you know, I'm learning all this. This is all new to me. I say it's all new. I've been doing it now for about 3 months. So it's not new to me, but I'm still learning techniques and stuff, you know. And the thing is, you can watch as many YouTube videos, tutorials as you want, and I really don't think that it'll justify being down the river and just fishing, because, you know, you're obviously going to see whether you make mistakes, and you're going to know that if you don't catch at one spot, then, you know, it could be because you may have used the wrong fly, or you made too much noise on the water, or so I'm a big advocate for going out and doing it yourself, you know, and just making sure you're down the river. And just being out, you know, being out in general is so peaceful down here. You know, you do get your dog walkers, and you do get the odd couple of kids that come down here, and but kids are going to be kids, you know, they're always going to come down by the river, and I'm all for it. If I always talk to the grandson and say to him, you know, I'd much prefer him to be down the river fishing than in the streets causing a bit of trouble, you know what I mean? But I think being down the river is so good for your mental health. And this is the thing, you know, is obviously as we get older, you know, things are going to slow down. You're not going to be able to do as much as you could have before, but you can still, if you can still do certain things, then try your best to keep doing it, because if it helps you and you're passionate about it, you don't have to be perfect at it, you don't have to be the best at it, you just have to do it. And that's ideally what I'm doing. You know, I know there's probably somebody who's been fly fishing a lot longer than me could come down here, probably catch a fish within the first 10 minutes. But like I said, I'm always willing to learn, and if somebody's down here fishing and they catch and they want to offer a little bit of advice, I'm more than happy to listen and learn. I've done other types of fishing, you know, I've done fishing with the worm, fishing with the spinners, lures and stuff like that, and I just find this is so much more peaceful, a little bit more primal. You know, you're targeting fish, you're looking for them, seeing where they are, trying to cast on them and stuff like that, and I find it's just a little bit more primal, and I seem to enjoy this a lot more than I do fishing with the lure or the worm. So normally there's a few fish that rise just over there, and I'm going to try and see if I can land it. I haven't seen them rise for a little while, but like I said, there were boys swimming up by us, so maybe they just disturbed the water a little bit, and they'll show their face, and I may be able to get a take on camera, hopefully, and get a bit more line out here. This spot's a nice little spot to try. I mean, if you're struggling to catch fish in this area, this is normally the spot I come to, and there's a lot of smaller fish in this area, so sort of think of it like breaking the curse. Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Oh, hold my...
So there we are, guys. I went down the river, had a little bit of a fish, but everything was against me today. I was making a lot of mistakes. I wasn't being able to land that line and that fly near the fish every time. I was scaring them too much. But you know, you don't always catch fish when you go down the river. You don't always catch fish when you go anywhere. So it's just one of them days, I suppose. But if we don't try, like I said before, if we don't try, we never know. And that's something that I always try and push myself, is to just try. Just go out and try. Give it a crack, see what happens. At the end of the day, it could be the best night, it could be the worst night, but I'm willing to give that a shot. So, yeah. The reason why I come down here again, you know, as I've said in previous videos, I do it because it gets me out of my own head. Being stuck in your own head, it's not a good place to be, especially when you've suffered from depression, PTSD, you know, Crohn's disease. When you've suffered with things that are quite debilitating to your mobility and, you know, to your everyday life, it's easy to just clam up and sit in the house and hide away from life, and sometimes that's not the best thing to do. So it's like I said, if you can try, if you can give it a go, you don't have to be brilliant at it, you just have to try and do it, you know. And ultimately it's either going to work or it's not. And if it doesn't work, doesn't mean you got to give up on it. You just got to go home, gather your thoughts, try again, because it will click. Anyway, I'm not going to ramble on anymore. Unfortunately, we didn't have any fish today. I would have loved to have caught a fish in this spot. We'll try and do another video here another time. The problem is I film quite late at night, so I start around about 7 to 7:30. By the time I get everything set up, it's around about 8:30, and then it starts to get a bit darker then, and everything starts to get a bit low light, so it's hard to actually get too much footage. But we'll try again during the day. Maybe we'll get a bit of rain and it'll dirty the water up, and I'll come down during the day and try and pluck out a few and see what we can do. But as of right now, that's it. So again, if you watched my video all the way through, thank you for watching. I know it's probably not the most fantastic footage, but like I said, I'm new to all this. This is the first time I've started filming myself, doing days out, going fishing, you know, and well, it is what it is. But if you like the video, don't forget to leave a like, a comment, subscribe if you want to. But yeah, we'll see you on the next video, guys. Love yourselves, a good day.